Guys, following on from my first X-Men video, this is the second video and this will look at structure. I'm going to have to upload the extracts here, as I said to you about having some technical issues, so please pause the video in order to read the X-Men extract. So just a reminder, guys, if you haven't watched the first video, which looks at question 2 on language, that you are given a blurb about the extract. So the extract we are given is this, and we are told, before we have a look at it, that Jean Grey, unbeknownst to her, is the most powerful mutant in the world. So that's huge to us. It's foreshadowing, which we're going to need in question 3. That her powers are out of control and she doesn't realise how dangerous she is. Again, that is foreshadowing. She is piloting a doomed shuttle. Again, so doomed, we know what that means. The solar flare, she has been dosed with a solar flare that is lethal. And she's going to sacrifice her life to save the X-Men. I'm going to upload the extract now and we're going to have a look through it. I'm going to put my voice over talking you through what I would be looking at, the structural devices that I would probably be commenting on. I know it is not the greatest quality, but stay with me. And what I would do if I was you is try to answer the question. So your extract is here, guys. Again, absolutely pause the video in order to read through it and take it all in. I will be looking for things like equilibrium, so when there's a sense of calm. Disequilibrium, when that changes and the reader is unsettled. The climax, so any climactic moments that we may be given. So you can see in here, look, the speech, the panic. Remember what the blurb had told us about the fact that the shuttle was doomed. Again, pause the slide here. And then again, the ending is now. I will be talking you through some of these devices and the things that I will be commenting on, and also showing you an example. I do think you should try yourself and then send them to me at Stacey if you wish. I'm going to attach Freytag's pyramid here. So what I would do is I would get the extract, or remind myself of the extract or any bullet points you've made, and I will be looking at where these structural devices occur within the extract. For the exposition, so what are we introduced to in the opening? Where is the rise in action or the inciting incident? Well, obviously we've been flung right into the middle of it, which is this ship that's out of control. The climax can be in more than one place. What's interesting, guys, is on the pyramid, obviously we've got the fall in action and we've got the resolution. Now that actually, arguably, we're talking about the fall in action is potentially Jean Grey falling into the water, and then the resolution is her death, isn't it? I'm going to give you some more terms here if you are looking for a 7 to 9, and then I'm going to take you through a breakdown of the extract, so stay with me and it might help you with the structure question. So guys, just some ideas here then. This is the start. This is the opening. All at once, the flare passed. Now, to me, this is arguably disequilibrium, because a flare instantly has connotations of danger, emergency. It's sending out a warning. So straight away, the reader is on edge. Now, what's going to happen there, guys, at the start is that the verbs are going to progressively worsen. So it goes coughed, click, reboot, flickered, blade, and therefore it's almost like we are heading into the climax of action because of the panic that Jean Grey is feeling on board the shuttle that we know is doomed, because we were told so in the summary. I've added some questions there, like what atmosphere is created and how does the reader feel? What do the verbs do in terms of the order of their intensity? The idea that it goes from a cough to a blare. And then we're going to get, guys, a shift, really, because we're going to get the introduction of dialogue, and the dialogue is cut off and it's interrupted. And again, we've got this panic and we've got this sense of urgency as if she has to save these people. So really, this is the inciting incident. Now, what's interesting, guys, is it says here that the systems are back online. Ask yourself if you think you can argue that that is equilibrium, because we now almost feel a sense of calm, that, oh, they might be saved here. Then for me, I would be looking at the fire dancing across her face. Again, I think that's disequilibrium being sustained with the personification of that idea and the notion that the radiation is boiling in her body. If something is boiling, it's potentially going to spill or explode. And again, what is this warning us about? Jean Grey. We then get the simple sentence in capitals, engines online. So it's almost like it's like a roller coaster, isn't it, of us panicking and then thinking, oh, actually the shuttle's going to be all right. So it doesn't necessarily follow Freytag's pyramid, this, because we've got disequilibrium, equilibrium, disequilibrium, equilibrium. And the engines online is, again, arguably equilibrium, where we think, oh, the shuttle's okay now. And then the idea that the pathetic fallacy, the sky is brighter and more clear. It's this false sense of security that Jean Grey is going to be okay and she's going to save the doomed shuttle. I would argue that this is where the climax truly begins. The introduction of the colour red, the small screen turned red, and then look at the simple single word in capital letters, triple, that we get. Danger, engine failure, and the syntax, the word order puts danger and failure around the engine. So it's almost sandwiching the fact that the engine is going to kind of fail, and this will lead to potentially a death or more than one death. And then worse than that, with it, the climax is being developed there, and then it really comes to fruition when we get the voice. And the voice obviously is interesting because it's now introducing a presence that was her, and yet not her. And then worse than that, time to die, it said, is that the most climactic moment so far? The height of the tension? Why is it that something's telling Jean Grey she has to die? How does the reader respond to that? How do we respond as well structurally to the introduction of a presence? Again, she was already dead. Massive, massive juxtaposition here about introducing the fact that she's dead to us. Again, where does our tension and our response lie? Our emotional response here. And the fact that she's suspended in air with her eyes closed. Again, is this the beginning of the end for Jean Grey? And then this notion that she is like a monarch introduces the theme of power. Now, when we link that to the title, which you are entitled to do, guys, the Dark Phoenix is potentially warning us that, yes, okay, she's died, but she might be going to rise again, because that is what is metaphorically within there. But look at that structural, simple sentence. She was already dead. As a reader, we start thinking, well, had she died? Has Jean Grey died previously? Has this presence taken over her? Loads of questions there. Is this the fall in action, her death? The end, when she drops from the sky, and then we get Jean. He said, Jean, no response. So it's the ending of the extract. Ask yourself if there's a clear resolution. Is the resolution that Jean Grey had to die? She had to sacrifice herself. Again, the blurb warned us of that. Is this disequilibrium because we feel unsettled that she's dead? Or are we at peace that she's died? Look closely at the punctuation and the simple sentence, no response. When answering the question, I would use the whole source. It's 8 marks, so look for 3 to 4 detailed paragraphs. Use quotations, structural terminology, and explain the reader's response. I'm going to show you an example now. Quick demonstration then, it's only the start. It's not a full response. The immediate introduction of a flare creates a sense of disequilibrium as the reader associates this with an emergency and instant danger. In addition, the reader's anxiousness continues as the focus moves to the complications within the shuttle, which progressively worsens as the extract develops. Coughed, click, reboot, flickered, blared. The structural changing of these verbs implies that the X-Men are in deep trouble. So again, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to bring up a bullet pointed list if you are practicing your answers to show you what you should now include in your own. So use these bullet points to try and write up your own analysis. I've got the disequilibrium and the rising action there with the quotations. You've got the engines online being equilibrium with the pathetic fallacy of the blue sky, the clear day. We've got the climax beginning at danger engine failure. The climax continuing with the idea that she's dead, which juxtaposes the eyes. And then obviously the conclusion and the ending of the extract is this idea that Jean has no response in that simple sentence and that urgency. So if I were you, I would try and write my own response now. Success criteria that I did put on the presentation, have a look back at what I've done, try and analyse the reader's response, where we feel tense, where we don't, where dialogue is introduced, where she dies. Use any of the terminology given, your equilibrium, disequilibrium, your climax, and any of Freytag's pyramid that you think this uses. Please watch my other video, which is the language analysis, and massive good luck. If you need anything, at Stacey V.